I get to introduce my dear friends, Sonny and Linda Lara and Tony. And I'm going to hand it over to Linda. They're going to talk about education. Our sister asked a question about education. They're going to talk about how they are taking some of the most at-risk talent, right? They're not the problem, they're an undermined resource. They're partnering with one of the elite prep schools, a very expensive prep school, not the most expensive. They try to keep their prices down, but it's a prep school in the Bay Area, Valley Christian, that put the very first, they've done many, many firsts. Valley Christian was the first high school, middle school, and elementary school to put an experiment on the space station. And now they've partnered through the Firehouse with Sonny and Linda Lara and bring that opportunity to their demographic. To get into the Firehouse, you have to have 4 Fs, straight Fs. They're overachievers, so they're both reaching overachievers. And now those kids are putting experiments on the space station. And their motto is, the sky's no longer the limit, okay? So I don't want to steal any more of their thunder. I'm going to hand it off to Linda. Take it from here.
All righty. All righty. Well, we're just so excited to be here because we want to be part of the solution. We believe we're solutionists, okay? There's a lot of problems out there, but let's hone down into the solutions where we can really make an impact and make a difference, okay? So we're Firehouse. Is this? Oh, okay. Oh, that's the video. We don't want the video yet. Okay? I kind of want to let you know. Okay, where's the slides at, though? Oh, okay. So go past the video? Click. Okay. All righty. We're Firehouse, and FCDC is Firehouse Community Development Center. And what we do is, our mission is to navigate youth out of high-risk communities, okay? And we do that because we exist to build curriculum that helps our youth gain skills necessary to obtain success in the future. And we do that by empowering them, developing them, and then transforming them into the real world, okay? But when they come, they have no skills. So we help build those skills, give them tools so that they can be successful in life, okay? And so here's a picture of them from failing in school. They come with a GPA of 0 point nothing, okay? And in order to get into our program, like Ted said, they have to have 4 failing Fs or more. Some of them are overachievers. They come with all Fs, okay? But why? Because there's so many programs for those who are succeeding, okay? And there's no programs for them. And so they feel like there's no hope, right? I'm already counted out. And so we give them hope, and we help them build their resume of success. And so here you see that they came in. Most of them are kids that are in gangs, okay? They're poverty, and they come from broken homes. And we get them to graduate from high school because they come with a low GPA, and a lot of them leave with a 4.0 with scholarships to universities, okay, such as Stanford, Santa Clara University, yeah. And remember, they come from here, and we get them to believe for that, okay? And we're going to talk about the ISS program and how that came about. But right now, I want to show you a video of one of our success stories of Anthony Sanchez, and he'll tell you his story. But Anthony was a leader of a gang who is now very successful, and they did an article on him, or a news article on him, and we want to show you that, and then I'll introduce you to Anthony. Go ahead, video.
And graffiti vandal went from tags to riches. Len Ramirez has a story of this incredible young man who is now giving back.
Tony Sanchez is just 25 years old, but he bought this Lamborghini in cash, just a drop in the bucket for a man who has more millions than he has years.
I was a millionaire by the time I was 23 years old. My net worth went up in the past 12 months to over $30 million.
Not bad for a kid who just a few years ago was running on the streets of San Jose as a tagger and a gang member who was arrested 14 times.
He was hard. He was a hard guy and had an attitude, and he came into my office and I saw what he had done.
But instead of kicking him out of school, Geneva Westerndorf offered Sanchez school credit to attend an after-school teen intervention program run by Pastor Sonny Lara.
Education is going to determine your lifestyle.
Himself a former gang member and parolee.
At that moment, I decided to improve a lot of my associations. I decided to get out of street gangs and selling drugs. I actually went and got on a regular day-to-day job working at a shoe store.
Sanchez went on to get a job at a stockbroker's office, earned commissions, and invested well. He created an online marketing company and a fitness products business that has customers worldwide.
Our speaking engagements, we have a lot of them lined up.
Now he's giving back. Sanchez is donating $5,000 in cash and his former San Jose office building to Pastor Sonny's program called the Firehouse.
He could have become armed and dangerous. He could have been someone that was wanted on Fugitive Watch. And now he's wanted because he inspires young people that you could turn it around too.
I was willing to do whatever it takes to move ahead in life.
Sanchez is now doing what others did for him, telling kids that they too can make it if they try. In San Jose, Len Ramirez, KPIX5.
Pastor Sonny's program serves over 1,000 at-risk teens every year. New at 6,
And so I want to introduce you to Tony Sanchez.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. I'm not much taller standing or sitting, but I'd rather do this. I just want to start by saying, thank you to everyone that has came here. Thank you to Ted. Everyone here has been able to pour into what we're doing today. Everyone here, from the stories I've heard, are a reason why we have moved the needle or been able to help others succeed. And at times, I sit here and think about it, and if it wasn't for the street gangs, if it wasn't for getting into trouble, if it wasn't, and that Miss Geneva, man, she was hard on me, man. As soon as I got caught, she was hard on me. And if it wasn't for a tough principal who gave me an opportunity to make two decisions, hey, you can go to jail or you can go to this after-school program. That I remember like it was yesterday. It was just that, it just so happened that there's got to be two things in place for the community and for the youth to succeed, right? There's got to be two things in place. Number one, there's got to be an option of you can continue to fail. And then number two, there's got to be an option of, or you can succeed. But the road to success is a long path, and if you're willing to stick to it, the outcomes are going to be greater than if you to take the other road, right? So it just so happened that I had got caught, the police and everything, they all came to school, and everyone found out that I was a gang leader, and it was, to my surprise, they didn't know that it was me, and then the teacher and the principal, just said, hey, I've got I went to a very small school that was full of people who got kicked out of public school, and you've had to go to this school called Foothill Continuation, okay? The session that I was in probably had about 60 kids, and I'd say like 50 of them were in gangs, okay? And I was number 49, right? So with the option of saying, today, I'm either going to turn you in, call your probation officer, you can get locked up, or you can go to this after-school program led by Sonny Lara. It's called Firehouse, and it starts today, so you decide. And so like any other 16-year-old, I put my hands together and, went, backed up to the chair. I said, fine, I'll go check this out. So It was the end of the day. I get out of the office and I start walking to the auditorium cafeteria where the after-school program was being held at. From a distance, I hear a motorcycle driving up, right, and literally parking right in front of the 2 doors to get into the auditorium, right, and a man with very well dressed in a suit, right, long hair, had his helmet on, and I didn't think it was him, by the way, you know? I didn't think that was Sonny, by the way. And so he gets off, we get into the program, and of course I choose the seat all the way in the far end. I didn't want to listen, but God knows that he gifted this man with the right words to say, okay? And when you have, so as a child, when you take the right opportunity and you hear the right things, and Morgan was saying some amazing things with her story, I was really moved by it. And so when you hear the right things and you're making progress, right, it continues to give you hope. And it continues to give you hope again. And so when you show up and then you hear something over and it feeds you, right? It feeds your mind, it feeds your thoughts, right? Later on in life, I went on to create an online marketing company, done marketing for plenty of companies, done all sorts of revenue, made some good money, had fun. And the important thing here is not necessarily the money that you make, the contributions, but teaching the next generation, right? And so my wife and I make it a point to teach our children biblical standards so that you know the good from evil, so that you know how to make a decision, right? And so without getting into the Bible or getting into prayer or making anybody confess here, right? I just want to say that this program is an absolute necessity in our community. It's a necessity for our homes. From what I've learned through Firehouse, I was able to bring that back and finish out the high school, got into community college, got inspired to start a business, got inspired to inspire other people, right? And it just so happens that we cross paths again. I see, you know, right after school, years later in 2012, I go on and I see Sonny at a gas station, and I say, you know what? It's just in my heart to come and help you. What do we have to do next?
That's
right? Were you?
Okay.
So I want to pass the mic over and pass the attention over to Sonny, who has been my mentor. He's been an example of what a father is. He's been an example of biblical standards. He's been an example of a leader in my life. It was an example for me at a time that I needed it. And even days like now and today, this example still exists. And so please help me welcome Sonny Lara.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to give God all the glory and honor. That's the reason why I'm here. You know, I remember in prison, I was in prison. I did time in 6 different prisons. I would hear God's voice saying, this is how you want to live your life in a controlled environment, when to get up, when to go to bed, when you can eat. And I said, God, if you're for reals, I want to change, but I don't know how to change. I've been in the system since I was 12 years old. I was on probation. I was kicked out of elementary school, kicked out of 2 junior high schools, expelled from high school. And when I went in there, I knew I didn't want to live like that anymore. And when I got there and I said, God, if you change my life, I will go back to the streets and let them know there's a way out. And that's exactly what happened. God changed my life. I kept my word. I went back to the streets. But the crazy thing, God would send me to the most dangerous neighborhoods. I mean, I get surrounded by these gang members. They say, you know where you're at? I said, yeah. He goes, you're crazy. I go, yeah, I've been crazy all my life. I'm even more crazier now because I believe what the Word of God says. And it's in the book of Acts 18. He said, go to this city. No one's going to harm you or attack you, for I have many in that city. And that's in the book of Acts 18, 9 through 11. So I knew God was sending me there. And then I worked with the San Jose Police Department in different areas. They go, you're crazy for going in there. We don't even go in there unless we have backup. So I went home that night and said, man, God, I must be crazy. He has a gun and a badge. And I went in those areas, but that's where you fish people out like Anthony. Anthony was a leader. 30 guys followed this guy. They were big guys. We had Roosevelt Park on 19th was the most dangerous park for the Northerners. It's called Red. Cinco de Mayo, you go by there every year now. There's hundreds that hang out at that park. So the city said, can you help change Roosevelt Park? And I said, yeah. So I talked to Anthony. I said, Anthony, can you get your guys together? He got all his guys. They went in there. They played baseball, basketball, ping pong, handball. And these guys were looking in the mirrors. Like, they weren't scared because they were seeing each other. But these guys were changing. You know, Anthony was changing. And you know what's crazy? You know the palm trees represent wealth in the Bible, in the Old Testament? So there was a policeman. He didn't like what I did. He didn't believe that I was changed. He said, this guy's still recruiting gang members, he said. So I had the license plates of the palm trees, and there's a gang called Palmas, and they use palm trees. But the funny thing is the principal had the same license plate that I had. So I said, so you're saying I'm gang banging, what's the principal doing? Gang banging too? You know what I mean? Because we had the same license plate of palm trees. You know, but we went in there and was able to get Anthony. Now, in the gangs back then, you get jumped in. You get beat up to get in and beat up to get out. Anthony went to his own gang and got jumped out. He didn't want to run from nobody. He didn't want to hide from nobody. He did it the right way, and the respect of those guys went higher with him because he did it right, and he changed his life. Became a businessman, went in there, donated a building. That building that you see, the students right there, they're from Andrew Hill students. He gave me that building for 1.5 years rent free so I could create programs for these guys because I had nowhere to take them after school. So we would get them there and bring them. Now, Danny Kim, who works with the space program in Valley Christian, they wanted to get in the public schools, but the public schools wouldn't let them in. They needed a nonprofit organization, which Firehouse is. So we talked about it, and his wife said, you know what? God showed me we need to use Firehouse. So we went in there, and now they're all over the world now. All over the world. Firehouse, that program.
The ISS program.
Yeah, the ISS program is all over. They actually met real astronauts that used to be, came to the program, inspired these young people. Now remember, all those students back there had straight Fs, every one of them. They gave them to us thinking that they're failed. They're not gonna make the program. You know what I told them? Fs turn into Ds, Ds turn into Cs, Cs turn into Bs, As are scholarships. And you know what? They believed it. I got them to believe in themselves. I said, you know who your worst enemy is? You. Right. You're your worst enemy. You got to believe in yourself. It doesn't matter what everyone else says. Education's free. It's what you do with it. Don't play the blame game. Don't blame everyone else. You don't like your neighborhood? Get an education so you can get out of the neighborhood.
Exactly. And you know what? That's what's so important about the ISS program is that, you know what? That these kids had an opportunity. That was what the difference was. They thought that the kids couldn't do the ISS program because it's really, you know, for higher education. You know, these kids superseded the Valley Christian kids. And let me tell you why. Because they got an opportunity. Yeah. They took that opportunity that nobody would ever give them, and you know what they could put on their resumes now? That they're bona fide space students.
Yeah.
Woo. This is so incredible. I love Sonny and Linda. You're celebrating an anniversary, right?
Yeah. Believe it or not, we're going to be married 50 years.
50 years, yeah.
But that's not the miracle. The miracle is I'm only 25.
Yeah. Yeah, I was joking. They still get carded if they go into bars.
She's a cougar.
But, they never go into bars, so they don't get carded. But obviously, you can see, you know where Sonny stands as far as his faith. But I also like, and I'm inspired by that, you know? Do you know he couldn't read before he started reading the Bible?
Yeah.
But he, you know, it's not just a spiritual faith leader. This guy is a businessman and an entrepreneur. And he realized when he was getting out of prison, ain't nobody going to hire me. So I'm going to have to start my own organization. He started his own organization. And look at
I wanted to shop.
Look at how they're training. Look at what they're doing. Incredible, incredible work. Now, how the Firehouse, can we go to the slide? Let's go back to the slide where they have your contact info. Can we get back to that? Right?
Do we have contact? Oh, yeah. There.
Okay. How do they get a hold of you? What's your website?
It's thefirehouse.com.
Thefirehouse.com, okay? Or .org, .com.
Yeah, no, .com.
The Firehouse, that's a great URL. Wow, wow, wow. Thefirehouse.com. Now, what you need to understand about this program, it was incredible. I know when I visited it, they got pushback from so the principal brought it in, and he wanted to take advantage of this opportunity because there was no way that he could provide it himself. So they started it with the Firehouse. The next year, he got pushed back from the parents of the high-achieving kids and say, "Did my kids have to get 4 Fs to get in this program?" So they compromised, and half of them are with the Firehouse, and half of them are, you know. What hit me so much is when you went in there, you couldn't tell which was which. It was breaking down these barriers, and they're working together in teams, collaborating to put experiments on the space station. But this is an incredible opportunity, and those of you watching, you want to check this out, reach out to Linda and Sonny. You can go to their website, send an email there, or if you're here, just reach out to them or connect with them on LinkedIn. Valley Christian, that invested over $250,000 to be the first school to build this program to put experiments on the space station, has now broken it down and has basically given it away. And what Danny Kim does as he's the leader of the Quest Institute. They have taken this, their heart is to take the excellence that's on top of the hill and make it available to the bottom of the hill, which is literally, there's a school at the bottom of the hill that was very underperforming. It's doing a lot better now, though, because of this partnership. And they've taken it down into a very reasonable price, like a packet that's like $400, that any group, any nonprofit can take advantage of. And now the nonprofit can partner with the school and replicate this program. They've pioneered it, and you don't have to go learn from the hard knocks in San Quentin prison to learn those skills. They've broken it down, and you can replicate it. All right, let's hear a hand for the Firehouse. All right? Okay.
I want to thank Eli, Thomas, and them. Let me tell you that because her husband, he's not here no more. I would go in there and he would read articles about me in the paper. I was in the newspaper. So these students would go to the prom or whatever, didn't have money for tuxedos. He said, anyone that's going to the prom or graduating, come and see me, and they would provide tuxedos. For this. I just want to honor and thank you guys very much for doing that. I seen his wife. I would talk to his wife in them, but you know, these guys wanted to do things. They just didn't have the money.
That's Nicole's father.
Thank you very much. God bless you.
That's Nicole's father. He was sewing into this program way back in the day. All right, let's give him a big hand clap. Thank you very much.